Well, this is my first day with the BioLite, and found that just had a little bit of a hard time keeping that green light staying on. That would be the long bar when you're trying to charge the goal zero. Might have been using slightly dry or wet sticks, but found when I put a can on the top, cut on both sides, that flame really stayed more contained and it generated more heat. Not sure if that's going to cause any kind of issues with the material at all, but it doesn't look like it right at this moment. That's just a little bit of soot on the plastic there. The outside isn't glowing. And that battery keeps charging. If you notice here for fuel, actually I'm using the cheaters, using the fabricated fire log. I'll go back and try the actual wood here in a little bit. If you look real close, you'll see that, yeah, charge light is blinking, and at the same time I am charging an iPad. The iPad won't charge directly off of the BioLite because it's not putting out enough power, but off the Goal Zero, which is fully charged, it will charge that stick. The Goal Zero will drop slightly eventually, but it will maintain most of its charge because of the BioLite. We'll see how well this works. Get back to you in a bit. The charge light has gone out. It kind of looks green. That's the long bar at the bottom, but it's mostly orange. So that happened oh, there we go, we're green again. That happened because the flame died down. You've got to have a fully roaring flame on high power with the fan there to get that charge light. Because that charge light is happening because air is coming in through here, cooling off the generator. So you've got to have your hot really hot, and your cold as you can get it. If you put an ice cube on that, I imagine you'd even get more power. But as you'll notice again, the charge lights are blinking again on the Goal Zero lithium-ion battery pack. And that flame is kicking. A real nice spiral of that flame inside there. And I wondered about that copper piece being off to the side, but it looks like it's right in the path of the flame once that flame spins around in a circle. Alright. I did find after a little while of operation that because of that can there, the top of the electric unit got a little warm. And unfortunately, if you do that, that's going to warm your intake air somewhat. Your intake air needs to be as cool as possible to generate the most temperature differential between your hot side and your cold side. So I put a little piece of aluminum there, and just in a minute, I cooled it right down. So if you're going to put a can up there like that for a bit of a chimney, you're going to need some kind of extra heat protection to protect your cold air intake. So this is my fuel source. This is about equivalent to what I've used so far. Let me look at our scale. Starting out at 0 grams. Drop that in there. There's about 100 grams of fuel. And I've gone from about 76% on the iPad when we started to 81%. So for 100 grams of fuel, we've gone up about 6%. Need to do a longer test on this to find out what the actual throughput is, but the iPad's battery is pretty big, And 6% for, oh, I figure been out here about 20 minutes. It isn't too bad. Let's look right down inside the firebox. Smoking at us a little bit. I wonder if that chimney could used to be a little longer. You hear the change? Even with that big old flame, the light still went yellow. So I'm going to take this cap, hopefully that's not hot anymore, throw it back on there, and so 38 seconds. Let's see how long that takes to come back on. Right at about a minute to get that internal battery charged back up to the point where it's willing to give a charge out again. As soon as it did that, the lights came back on over here. Looks like I'm down to about half power. No, that's not true. I guess I'm almost at full power. The lights are blinking. And the iPad's been charging the whole time. So it's been keeping up. That's pretty cool. Not too much smoke coming out of there. A little bit. So I've taken off my chimney there. Put the pan back on top. But just about as soon as I did, that little charge light decided it didn't want to stay charged anymore, so that pan's pretty much got to be on there to trap some heat on that element. So if you're going to run this just to charge up your batteries, you got to find some way of retaining that heat. Either be it a can with a lid or with a pan. A little bit of black smoke coming off there. Well, I think we're probably running low on our fuel. I've run out of my 200 grams. The neat thing is, we're only a quarter of the way down on our battery here. That light's not lit. And for the iPad, we are at 84%. So we've gained about 9% since we started. And that's my intro test with the BioLite and the Goal Zero. Oh, and one last thought. If you ever forget to charge the internal battery in the BioLite, you always turn your Goal Zero around backwards and use the A to A cable USB to plug in and power that fan. It'll run for quite a while like that, just in case you need a little extra help starting her up. And then when you're done, you take this cable, which is A to, female A, and you plug it into the other side to charge it. Charging that way, and then coming out, and then into the iPad or the iPhone.